Hey there, welcome to Consult the Blind Guy. My name is Andrew, and I'm here to help you build your brand, grow your audience, and market your content and make some money. In today's episode, we're going to go over the 5 ways to make money that was covered in this morning's video. If you have any questions, please feel free to drop them into the live chat, or if you're watching this on the replay, go ahead, drop them down in the comment section below. If you could please put question in all caps. It makes it a lot easier for me to be able to see and differentiate between regular conversation and comments. It'd be greatly appreciated. Let's get to it. As I said, welcome to Consult the Blind Guy. My name is Andrew, and today we're covering 5 ways for you to be able to make money from home and online. Now, in this morning's video, we had 5 ways for you to be able to make money from home more than it is online, but doing it online does play a big role in some of the steps that you can do to make money in these 5 ways. Before we get too far into today's episode, let's see who we have with us. Hey Kim, how are you? Thanks for being here. Hope you're having a good day as well. I'm doing good. We will be having a quality improvement coming this week. I know I said in the past that I wasn't going to upgrade my camera, but while I had the opportunity, I jumped on it. So I will have a new Sony a6100 here by Saturday evening, roughly. And the camera that I'm using now will actually be a secondary camera. So we will be having the capability of 2 different camera angles in the future episodes and live streams. And it will also give me the ability to do higher quality content and more for the business aspect of content creation. So I'm doing awesome. I hope you are as well. I know the weather has been fluctuating a lot lately, so I hope you're staying warm down there. If you have any questions, please feel free to post them in the live chat. Okay, so in this morning's video, for 5 different ways for you to be able to make money, real quick, just to list them off. Number 1 is creating greeting cards. Number 2 is handcrafting jewelry. Number 3 is Handyman Services. Number 4 is finding and flipping property. And number 5 is landscaping. Now, this is a varied kind of list for this morning's video, but all of these ways can actually make you a fair amount of money in a short amount of time. I have actually done a few of these different things myself already throughout the years, so I have a little bit of experience when it comes to a few of them already. And if you have any questions on them, please feel free to drop them in the live chat or in the comment section below if you're watching on the replay. Yes, it is definitely nice to get new things. I originally wasn't going to upgrade the camera or anything for that matter because I wanted to be able to show our community and all the content creators out there that you can literally just use a cell phone as a camera and have fairly decent quality. Now, This past week, unfortunately, we had an unscheduled break in live streams due to technical difficulties. For some reason, the phone that I'm using now, again, as you can see, is coming through nice and clear. For some reason, this past week, it didn't want to come in clear. For about a week and a half now, up until just the other day, it has been doing this very laggy, slow video. And I literally already had to reset the computer because of an issue on that side, but it didn't help the matter with the camera any. And I went through and actually reset the phone I'm using as a camera back to factory and then removed everything off of it for like the 5th time now. And it's finally working again after getting it reinstalled and updated. So thankfully, I managed to get it going so we could be back for this week's live streams. Now, after this week, however, starting next week on Monday and going forward, I should be on the new camera, which will be completely dedicated to doing the videos and live streams right here. The nice part about having the new camera is now I can take higher quality pictures, I can take higher quality videos, and then I can also begin going out and doing my own B-roll videos and images that I can actually license out to other content creators or doing other photo and video services in general. Now, to go over today's list of ways for you to be able to make money, just to give a brief description again of each of these and then answer any questions that you have on them. Now, most people don't think of creating greeting cards, but it is a fairly simple way for you to be able to make money from home and online. You could do this in a couple different ways. One is to completely design your greeting card or birthday card, anniversary, weddings, whatever kind of card you want to create. You can do in two options. You can market them completely online, or you can have them printed and then take them to local businesses and places like that you could potentially market to them why it would be beneficial for them to have your cards in their stores. By doing this, you have two possible revenue streams, because if you could take your greeting cards and market them to a local business or even a large corporation that already does cards, you could get your designs and your cards out to a bigger mass market of potential clients or customers. Now, if you don't want to do your business in the aspect of brick and mortar at a local business or distribution across the country or worldwide, you can always market them online strictly, and then they can be printed out on demand and then sent to where they need to go. Nice part about that is you can set the price ranges on them, and you can do price breaks and you can do all kinds of different designs, different things. There is a ton of different ways that you can actually make a nice amount of money with greeting cards. And you don't necessarily even have to market them for yourself. You can offer it itself as a service for custom printed cards. Number 2 is handcrafting jewelry. Now, I myself do make jewelry. I do Native American chokers, Native American necklaces, and earrings and things to that effect. And by doing things handmade, whether it's jewelry or a craft in general, you can charge a wee bit more compared to what you would get it out in, say, Kmart or Myers, Target, or any of the other places. Why? Because it's handmade. That makes it unique, a one-of-a-kind item, because no two things are going to be the exact same. And then it's the fact that it is handmade compared to a mass production of jewelry or crafts that are out there that get made here in America, or whether they come from China or wherever. Um, for instance, one of my chokers is completely traditionally handmade, sinew, glass beads, buffalo bone or buffalo horn for the beading, and everything else that goes into it is not cheap in itself. And then you figure the amount of time it takes you to create that particular item, and then the shipping costs and everything else, you can actually make a fair amount of money. One of my chokers for like a child is about $20. And then if it goes up to the adult sizes, depending on how many rows or whether it's a necklace and the length of it and everything that has to go into it, can range anywhere between $20 up to 100 plus. And there's no set limit. You create your own price ranges. You can either include or not include shipping costs. It's entirely up to you. Myself, over the last 20 years of me handcrafting different products, chokers, necklaces, earrings, dream catchers, everything that I make, I have always charged strictly the amount that it costs for the items, the materials itself, and shipping. Outside of that, I've never charged for the time it's taken me to create those items. Some people think that is a downfall, but that, in my opinion, over the last 20 years has been my way of keeping my prices low, because I know a lot of different crafters out there who not only charge you for the materials and charge you for the shipping costs, but they're going to charge you an hourly rate for how long it takes them to complete that item. I know some people that will create a dream catcher, for instance, and they'll have about $10 to $15 worth of materials, but they will turn around and sell a little dream catcher that's maybe 6 to 8 inches across for upwards of $120 or more because of it being handmade. Now, I understand that some of the beads and things like that can be expensive depending on what type you use and the size and everything else, but it's still not $100 or over that in materials for a small dream catcher. That means they're making roughly 45 to 55% or more in profit, because they're charging anywhere between $8 and $10 an hour in creating something. Even if it doesn't take them an hour, they're still going to charge you by that hour, even though it took them a few minutes. So it's entirely up to you, but you can make items and then sell them from your home online, or do a consignment, which is offering them to a business to sell for you, and then them getting a small portion of the profit as a commission to sell it for you in doing the transactions. Number 3 is Handyman Services. This would entail just about anything, whether it's painting a fence, changing light bulbs, fixing a doorknob, fixing a pipe leak, anything that you can do as a handyman, whether it's home repair, vehicle repair, anything. Any kind of handyman service can actually be very very profitable, because you may have a skill that somebody does not have and they will pay you to do it for them, so they don't have to do it or don't have to learn about it or have somebody that is capable of doing it, so it just saves them time. I've done some of that myself in the past, whether it's painting or anything like that. Those services can be quite well profitable. Number 4 does get a little bit difficult, but it is entirely possible in a short amount of time if you have the skills, the time to do it, and aren't afraid of constantly marketing the possibility of flipping homes. If you can find property and flip it, you can make 10, 15, 20,000 or more on one single sale of property. Now, most people think of finding and flipping houses like on the TV shows that are on later in the evening to early morning, where you see people go out and buy a house for $4, $5, $6,000 and then turn around and sell it for 20, 30, 40, $50,000, and they think, oh well, that'd be awesome, but I don't have the money and I don't have credit. You really don't need all of that. What you need is inventory and clients. The only thing you need is inventory, which would be property, and clients. That's it. You can entirely sell without even technically owning it. You can be more or less like a real estate broker. You would go out and find it, and then you will market it, and then hopefully they'll buy it, in which case you can make a commission for your fee from helping them find that location. You don't have to be a real estate agent, you don't have to be a mortgage broker, anything like that. You do have the capability to go out and find property and then sell it and make a commission from that sale, because you're going to be the one to help them find it, and it takes a lot of stress off of a lot of real estate agents of having too many different people looking at the same house or too many appointments coinciding and things like that. Instead of going to a real estate agent to go, hey, we're looking for this in this area and da 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 da, then they can go to you and go, this is what we're looking for. Or you can have the line on houses or properties already and then advertise about them for a fee. You'll be able to help them get into the real estate to be able to get into that property. The thing that is going to hinder most people when it comes to finding and flipping property is they don't want to do the marketing, which is the biggest part of finding and flipping property. A lot of people don't want to be on camera or on audio or in person to constantly give why you want this house, what's around the house, what's around the property, what's beneficial for that potential homeowner or property owner to want to go through you to be able to purchase that property. And then lastly, landscaping. Landscaping is a fairly simple and easy job. It takes a little bit of investment, but it takes more planning than it does anything. I myself was into landscaping when I was a teenager and into my early 20s. I made anywhere between $10 and $15 an hour working for one of my friend's fathers who ran a landscaping business. And we did everything. whether it was planting flowers, planting trees, laying out cement slabs for walkways, putting trim around things, cutting grass, weed eating, you name it, we did it. And we also had contracts with the city, so we did all of the grass and flowers and trees that were in the medians and on the side of the roads and everything else like that in the downtown area. And depending on the landscaping business itself, you can make a fair amount of money in a very, very short amount of time. I averaged working anywhere between 2 and 6 hours a day working for my friend's father, and he paid fairly handsomely for the workers to do the landscaping. Okay, let's see what Kim say. I would like to hear stories about what you have done in these categories. Yep, no problem. Uh, do you make accessories for women's hair? I have not made anything for women's hair yet, but I do know a couple things that I could do. Um, Now, when you say about pulling back your hair, are you talking like hair ties or um, braid wraps? Um, eh, what kind of hair accessory, Kim? Can you be a little bit more specific? Because if I don't particularly know how to make one myself, I do actually know community members who do. So if it's something I'm not capable of, then I do know people I could reach out to for you. And then you want to know stories about the things I have done in these categories. Um, as I said a moment ago, I've done the landscaping myself and I made a fair amount of money in my spare time working for my friend's father. And we did a lot. We did city contract work, we did uh, private homeowners work. We had a couple different people that were millionaires that had us do all of their yard care and landscaping for putting around borders in their yard, around trees and flower beds. Um, we had contracts for condos that we would go and take care of, trim hedges. Um, there's boathouse that we went around, put plants around, flowers around. We put in docks for a walkway around the wetlands next to the boathouse that they had as well. That way they had a scenic area to go and chill out, so they didn't necessarily have to be trapped inside the boathouse all the time. They could go out, sit on the deck, or go for a walk out and around the edge of the lake. Um, I myself have made, I don't even know, I'd say anywhere between 75 and 100 different chokers and necklaces, and a lot of them I have gifted away, and uh, the other half I have sold anywhere between $20 a piece up to $100 a piece. Um, I've actually got um, 4 lamps left to make at the moment, and I've sold a set of those already for $200, and that again is literally the cost of the materials to make those lamps. I did not make any profit in the aspect of hourly wages or anything like that, where a lot of people tell me I should have, just because of the amount of hours it took to create those lamps. But I'm one of those that I prefer to try to keep the cost as low as possible and affordable for the customer. So I've always tried to keep my prices as low as possible because it's been a hobby. Something for ponytails. Yeah, I can see about doing a scrunchie or something like that for you. I'll get a hold of you later on and we can talk about it. Figure out more specifically what you would want color wise and things like that. That way it's custom made specifically for you. Because that is one thing that I've always prided myself on when it comes to my handmade crafts is no two items will ever be the exact same. They might get somewhat similar, but they will never be the exact same setup ever. Even if I use the four direction colors, which are red, white, yellow, and black, I might put them in that specific order: red, white, yellow, black. But the second time I use that set of colors, or the third time or the fourth time that I use those colors, they will never be in the exact same order on whatever it is I'm making. And then even if I use that color combo, I will alter the way that it is set up. Sometimes I'll use 4 beads, sometimes I will do 2 beads in a section, sometimes it's just one in each section. I do everything unique so that everything I make is 100% one of a kind. It will never be reproduced in that manner again. I am the only community member here in Michigan that actually makes dream catchers with multicolor sinew to be able to give the dream catchers more than just one look. Most people, when they think of a dream catcher, they think of one single color, which is the natural yellowish brown, and that's it. I will literally go through and use as many colors as possible, or whatever is asked of me by the customer itself, to be able to make a dream catcher. None of the spacings are exactly the same, nothing. Everything is always 100% unique to itself, one of a kind. And they also come with certificates of authenticity and numbered as well, to show that it was handmade by me when it was made by me, and that it is Native American authentic made, which is also required by federal law for traditional and non-traditional items that are claimed to be native made. Okay, sounds good, Kim. Will do. Now, finding and flipping properties, I have not done on my own solo, but I have assisted in the past with a couple people when I was younger and lived in the city up in Grand Rapids. they made deals with the real estate agent that they would be the ones to go in and do the necessary upgrades or improvements, and then help find the customers or potential homeowners to buy or lease the property for that house. And one of them was a duplex. We went in and we redid all of the cabinets, all of the trim around the entire duplex. We finished a basement. We did all kinds of stuff to improve on the property itself. And then we assisted the real estate company with marketing and finding clients to purchase or lease the property that was up for sale. And I want to say, because it's been almost 15 years, that it was about 3,000 that we made each on doing all of that work. Handyman services, as I've said, those are fairly simple tasks, whether it's painting something or repairing something, replacing something, removing something, anything like that is simple stuff. And you can charge by the hour, you can charge by the task. It's entirely up to you. I have done a combination of both depending on what it was I was asked to do. And it's something that I am considering doing again, is offering those services for potential revenue streams myself, whether I list it on Craigslist or just on my profile. I'm not quite sure yet, but it is a good way for you to be able to make a few bucks in your spare time, or if you want to turn it into a part-time or full-time job. Painting is fairly simple. It's just time consuming because of going through and taping things off, laying stuff out so you don't have any splatters anywhere or drips on the carpet or wood floor or whatever. Um, then painting and then waiting for it to dry and then putting a second coat. That can be very time consuming, but as I said, you can make a fair amount of money depending on what you're charging, whether you're going by the hour or by the task. I've painted rooms, I've painted fences, I've done tiling, done flooring in general. There's a lot I have done throughout the years, and kind of wish I would have stuck with some of that stuff longer, because I probably still have a career now rather than just being a independent contractor or handyman on the side. Now, greeting cards I have not done in the aspect of selling them in the store or online, but I have offered it as a service in the past where I would do custom printing and then send it to the person that was requesting it. Just like here in the very near future, not the exact same, but the same aspect is, for instance, I am a musician. Not only do I play, but I also make composition work, which is taking loops or samples and mixing them together into music. if you've seen the countdown timer for today's live stream or for any of the live streams, all of that music that you hear is made by me. I have over 125 different licenses for the loops and samples that I use for commercial royalty free purposes, which means all the songs that I create are mine and I am licensed to use those samples, and I can then sell those songs for a profit to recoup the money I've spent on the licensing. And here in the very near future, I will be offering CDs for giveaways as well as for sale here on the channel, in the email list, and in the groups and everything else, because I have 162 songs currently finished. I have another 18 to finish yet, for a grand total of 180 different musical recordings or compositions. And I'm going to get them all copyrighted here in the near future. I'm going to do them in stages because I do music in multiple genres. So I'm going to go by genre and get them slowly copyrighted, so I have more of a leg to stand on when it comes to copyright infringement. And those will also be available for sale with licensing to use them as well. More good news is this past week, with not having a live stream on Monday and Wednesday like usual, I have been able to finish the outlines for the modules of the content creators course that will be getting released here in the very near future. So if that is something you may be interested in, don't forget to stick around and subscribe to this channel so you can stay updated on the latest for the release. Because there is going to be 12 different modules with approximately 60 different lessons. These lessons are going to cover every single aspect from very beginning to advanced. I have, with the wonderful holiday that we just had of Valentine's Day, that marked my 16th full year of being here on YouTube. 16 years of being on YouTube. I am a member of Nick Nimmons' group. I'm a member of Dee Nimmons' group, Pat Flynn's group, and the live streaming pros group. And I watched Roberto Blake and Sean Cannell and all of the other big names. And each and every one of the big influencers out there right now has less time on this platform than I do. Each and every one of them has pretty much been kicking me in the butt this entire past year, telling me to start doing this content creators course, start charging for things, because I've been on this platform longer than they have and have not been making any money because I've been doing it as a hobby. And I didn't know the ins and outs of how they keep changing the algorithm, but over this past year, I've spent over $3,000 to go to different courses and webinars and everything else to learn more about the algorithm and how I can help out the community, whether you're sighted or whether you're visually impaired or differently abled in any way. and I'm going to show you in my content creators course how to literally start your YouTube channel, how to get your page set up, how to do your videos, what equipment you need to have to get started, how to go about upgrading, how to go about getting sponsors and affiliates and brand deals and everything else. I'm going to literally show you every step of the process and how to do it in the cheapest ways for you to be able to start, and how you can slowly upgrade and move forward from beginner to advanced. Have you thought about starting a website for the blind community in which you let them put their services there, similar to Etsy or something like that for our community? I had considered something like that, but I don't know the exact process in which I would do it because of the whole earned income situation, but that is something I have considered. I've also considered doing a social media site in general, like Facebook and all of the others out there, because it irritates me about the double standard. Rant time. Okay. Facebook, when they first originally came out, it was about being able to connect with people and being able to speak your mind. Same thing with Twitter and Pinterest and all the other social media sites, including MySpace, even though MySpace is nothing like what it used to be back in the day. But still, all the social media sites that we have out there all started out with the concept of being able to connect with friends and family and making new friends, sharing your personal experience and views and thoughts on things is covered by the First Amendment right to free speech and freedom of the press, because that's exactly what that is, whether or not people want to realize it or not. Social media is the press. It is in any way that you can publicly share your information. Doesn't have to be a news media outlet or a TV channel or a radio station. Freedom of the press is all of the different options entirely for you to be able to practice free speech. And most recently, the newest company out is Parler. Parler boasted about being a First Amendment website for social media. But when you look at the terms of use, or the EULA, the End User License Agreement, terms of service, terms of use, all the same, of which they state that they endorse and encourage the First Amendment, but they also make the statement that they can remove your content at any point in time should it violate their standards, or should anybody find it offensive or against their standards, in which case they can remove your posts or your comments, or they could shut down your page entirely, and they do not have to give you reason why. In my opinion, that is a double standard. You cannot tell people that they have entire freedom of speech and then contradict yourself and state, well, if you don't say something that, or if you say something we don't like, that we can remove it, or if you say something that offends somebody else or they don't like, that we can remove it or we could shut down your account. That's not following the First Amendment. That is censorship. Now, if you put in your rules a set of guidelines like Facebook does, even though they have their own little double standard. But still, if you take that concept of making a list of general rules, then I can understand having a statement of if you violate these rules, we can remove your post or restrict your access or close down your page. But when you look at the Parler terms of use, they have nothing to that aspect. If I was to do what I was considering, it would be fairly simple rules. No hate speech, no sexual content, and no child exploitation. Those are the only three that I was primarily thinking of. Otherwise, you can have any other content on it. No adult nudity, no child exploitation, and no hate speech. Period. 3 things. That's it. So long as you didn't violate those 3 different things, you would be able to say or do as you want on your own page without restriction or removal of your content or without your content being deleted along with your account. And that's how I believe it should be on any of the social media sites. Make a fair, simple set of guidelines or rules, and that's it. Outside of those simple rules, you should have the entire ability of free speech. Yeah, I heard that they were back on the new servers that they've got, and they're still boasting that they're a First Amendment, but I I wouldn't deal with them at all. Especially after the whole situation with what happened in the beginning of the year and how Amazon shut them down and how their data was sold and given off to the government as well is bull, in my opinion. I understand that these sites have a legal obligation when it comes to investigations and stuff like that, where they get subpoenaed and have to give information. However, they did not have cause for every single Parler member that uses that site. They got access to every single Parler's anybody that used that platform. The government now has their information, all their posts, everything. And in my opinion, that's violation of privacy, and that's a violation of your rights, because not every Parler member, not every member of any social media was at the Capitol building when things happened. But because of that happening, they took everyone's information and gave it to the government. And it wasn't willingly handed over by just the company itself, it was also done by hackers and things like that that went in and copied that information and then gave it out to the government, and they also sold that information to other companies and things like that as well. So to me, I don't trust a lot of the different things going on with social media these days because of the way that they're going about it. Computer's starting to run warm again. Eventually, I'm going to have to send this freaking thing in. and get these fans taken care of. Yay. Not. I know I've done told you probably like over a dozen times already, but thanks again, Kim, for this coffee warmer because it is truly a godsend. This thing keeps my coffee nice and hot. Do you have any more questions on any of the 5 topics I've covered today for making money from home and online? Or any questions in general about the series that we've covered so far, or in general? We've only got a few more minutes left in today's show, so I want to make sure that if you have any more questions that I answer them real quick before we end today's live stream. But yeah, I will do a little bit more research on the possibility of doing a site like that for our community, Kim, because I do think that it would be quite beneficial not only for our community, but it could be a great source for the sighted to be able to refer to and break some of those stereotypes and misconceptions, because there are a lot of different things that our visually impaired and differently abled community can do that most people think we can't. This right here, this live stream being one of them. And thankfully, I have been noticing more and more over these past few months that we have a lot of different community members in some of the different Facebook groups that are actually starting to do video content, podcast style content, and doing more on social media, whether it's here on YouTube or on TikTok and Instagram, and it's awesome. I know there's actually a few different people that have come specifically from Facebook to this community on YouTube and watched my videos and reached out to me about doing their own content, how to do it, and things like that. And that was one of the reasons I started putting together the content creators course, which I will be starting to film here fairly soon and be releasing in the near future again. So if you want to stay updated on that, don't forget to subscribe so you can stay updated not only on the content creators course, but on the videos and live streams in general. Okay, no more questions from Kim today. All right. Well, thank you for the couple questions that you did ask him. It is greatly appreciated. And I don't know who our other viewer is on YouTube, but thank you for joining us today. It is greatly appreciated. Small crowd today, but hey, that's all right. Any viewers is better than no viewers at all. And that is one thing that I will definitely touch a lot of on within the course is not focusing on numbers. You may think that because this channel, Consult the Blind Guy, has roughly 130 people for subscribers right now, that's okay. You don't need 1,000 subscribers. You don't need 1,000,000 subscribers. Having a smaller community, honestly, is still a good thing. No, you may not have the extra little features that YouTube will give you after reaching those higher milestones, but you don't really necessarily need them. If you do things in the right way, you don't need the extra features on YouTube for a community tab or memberships or anything like that. There are other ways to be able to do things and still be able to monetize your content. And that is definitely one thing I am going to touch a lot of on in the content creators course is different ways for you to monetize your content no matter what platform you're on. And also, the content creators course is not just about YouTube, it will be about Pinterest and Instagram and all the others as well, because they are, in a sense, all connected. They all have their own algorithms and everything else, but they are still more or less the same. Sounds like you're going to have to learn how to use screen readers in order to customize your content for blind people. Yeah and no. It all depends really, because um when it comes to the content, like the content creators course for instance, I'm going to do that in the aspect like I've done the tutorials in the past, and I will literally tell you what everything is on the screen, where it's at on the screen, and how to use it. That way everything is easier to understand. Because even though we have screen readers, they are not entirely 100% accurate, where I can go through with 100% accuracy and tell you everything. And that's the one honest reason I don't like screen readers is I can put my mouse over something and it still will not be accurate. I do actually have one of our community members, Greg, from the Blind Guy Show, who has offered to assist me with using the NVDA screen reader to be able to learn it, because I have not used it. I've only used the built-in narrator on Windows, and on Windows 7, in my opinion, it's crap. On Windows 10, I've only used it for like 5 minutes, roughly, and it's okay, but it's still very similar to Windows 7, so there's a lot of room for improvement. Hey, Danny Mac, glad to see you made it, but you're coming right towards the end. If you have any quick questions or comments, feel free to drop them into the chat. I'll be more than happy to answer them for you. To do a quick recap for Danny, since he just hopped in, today we had 5 different ways to be able to make money from home and online. Again, another Q&A. Number 1 was greeting cards. Number 2 was handmade jewelry. Number 3 was Handyman Services. Number 4 was finding and flipping property. And number 5 was landscaping. No worries on being late, brother. I know over there for you it is a little bit later in the day. Awesome, awesome. Hope you're doing good over there, Danny. Thanks for stopping in and saying hey for me and the crew. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're all staying nice and warm and safe over there. But if there's no more questions, we're just over the top of the hour. So I want to thank you all again for joining me today for another live Q&A on 5 more ways for you to make money from home and online. As of right now, I do not have a scheduled guest for Wednesday because I was not sure whether or not I was going to have the tech issues handled or not. So I will be reaching out to a few people about being on Wednesday, and I will post onto the Facebook page and other social media to let you know whether or not we have a scheduled guest for Wednesday or not. Yeah, well, that's good to hear. Hopefully, it will stay that way for you, Danny. Over here, they cannot make up their damn minds. Some states are still enforcing the lockdowns. Other states have started making legislation and things like that to uh, shut down the lockdown and make it so we no longer have to do all this crap with masks and social distancing and everything else. Oh, that sucks, Kim. Hopefully, you don't have that issue again. Sorry to hear you didn't have water for a few hours. But I will post into the group and onto the pages later to let you know who we have, if we have anybody for Wednesday's show. And now that I have the camera issue figured out, hopefully it stays figured out, and I can get the video done for Friday's show, and then moving forward. So thank you again, Danny Mac, for coming in today, and Kim Lackey. Thank you for coming today and asking questions. Greatly appreciated. Hope you all have a wonderful day or evening, depending on where you are in the world. And we will see you again on Wednesday, same time, same place. Until then, peace out and have a great one.